let's go back to the Zoom machine and say hello to the victorious Sean Brady. Sean, congrats, my man. Welcome back. How are you?
Well, I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. Man, how good did that feel? Year off, coming off your first pro loss, to get a win like that over a name like that. Can you describe?
I don't think there's any words that can describe it, man. It was a rough year. Lost a fight, injuries, had to pull out of my Jack Della fight, only getting one fight in that year. Having to sit on that year and know that it wasn't the best me, obviously back in Abu Dhabi, and just I couldn't wait to get out there and prove to everybody and really show everyone what we already know about me, that when I'm mentally and physically there, nobody can beat me in the world. And I think one of the best Sean Brady's ever showed up Saturday night, and I showed out.
Oh, why did you have to pull out of the Jack Della fight?
So I got it wasn't staph. It was my wife sitting right here. She's a nurse. It was some kind of strep that got into my elbow, and I was in the hospital for a week. So I had to be on IV antibiotics, and I had like a bad bursa sac, and my elbow was huge. So it was like similar to when I had to pull out of the Kevin Lee fight. So Kevin pulled out of our fight. They've rescheduled us. And then I got a staph infection in my ankle where I actually had to have surgery on that. So that shit messed me up for months. I had a PICC line in my arm. So I had to pull out of the Jack fight. But yeah, we're here now. I got the big win, and it couldn't have went any better, man. The fight week, we had Dean Thomas there with us. It was I just got an amazing team, and it went amazing.
By the way, I like you a lot. I'm very happy for you. Wearing the Eagles shirt a week after they beat my Bills. Cheated, dare I say, in that game. I mean, all kinds of cheat. It's a bit of a low blow, bro. I mean, really? Listen, you have to rub that in?
I was thinking about you during that. My wife and my best friend and his wife were at the game, and I was sawing at my house. I was watching the game in the sauna. When we hit that 61-yarder, I was like, this is going to be this is the craziest game ever. It was a wild game. There was some stuff going on there on both sides, but we got smacked yesterday, so yes. I'm sure you were happy about that.
Rightfully so. You guys are way too cocky. I'm tired of the Eagles fans. Way too cocky.
We are. Listen, either you love us because you're one of us, or you hate us because you're not one of us.
No, listen, it's been a great run for Philly sports. Making it just to the championship game, but always losing, never getting the big one. So, it's nice to be the bridesmaid sometimes.
The Phillies. Oh yeah. The Phillies were crazy because I was in training camp and the games were going till like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, man, I'm not saying I want them to lose, but I can't keep staying up this late. Like it's killing me. Nah, we're doing all right over here. We're 10-2.
Yeah. I'm jealous. I wish I was 10-2. Right. I wish the Bills were 10-2. What were you feeling on fight week? Considering you had to bounce back in a big way. The division kind of moves on with or without anyone, and you're fighting a guy who's back at 170 who looked great in his last fight. Were you feeling the nerves?
Nah, that's one thing I've been talking about all week is I did a lot of mental work. I hired Brian Kane. He's a mental coach. He worked with GSP. Worked with Rich Franklin and worked with all kinds of guys. And then I started working with another guy, Brandon Epstein. So I've been doing a lot of mental training over the last year, and just really focusing on just being present and knowing that this is what I choose to do. I haven't had a fight week like that since before COVID. Abu Dhabi was weird. Like my team was there, but everyone was all fucked up because of the travel. Like it was just not a normal fight week. So before COVID, like Boston and Virginia were my debut and my next fight. I had my whole team there. Like everything just felt great. And this week felt like that, but 10 times better. We had an Airbnb. We had 15 people there. I had coaches, teammates. My parents were there. My wife was there. My best friend was there. So I had my whole squad there, and it just couldn't have gone any smoother. My weight cut was the easiest weight cut I've ever had in my life. Like nothing could have went better. And then even the fight was way easier than I thought it was going to be. I trained so hard for that fight going in there against Kelvin. Like if you look at his resume and the people he's knocked out and the way he's knocked them out, the UFC's putting his highlight reels on of him starching Bisbing and knocking all these guys out. And people are telling me in the comments I'm going to get knocked out. So I had a lot riding going into that fight, but I knew as long as I was present and my mind was there, which it was, I was going to fucking do exactly what I did, and it felt great.
By the way, is this the first time that you've worked with a mental coach, and why two?
Just because I feel like we work so much on our physical, but the mind is such a powerful thing, and I just feel like I had a lot to work on, and just I have all the skills, I have all the physical attributes, but sometimes I just don't believe in myself the way I should, and I should believe in my skills. And we just worked on that a lot, and really just believing in myself and knowing how good I am. And I truly think I'm one of the best in the world. And everyone around me and anyone who's ever trained with me knows that, and they say it. So I had to start believing it, and now I believe it. And I think it showed Saturday night what I'm capable of.
And why do you need two?
So I started working with Brian Cain, and then when I signed with Vayner Sports, they had the guy Brandon, and I started to work with him a little bit. And they just do two different things. Like, they're both great at what they do, but they both do different things for me. If that makes sense.
Did the loss to Belal, did it shake your confidence? Did it mess you up? Was that part of the reason as well?
No, I think the loss was because I wasn't confident.
Okay.
I went into that fight, and like the whole week of the fight, I was having dreams that I was going to lose the fight, and it was something I never dealt with before, and I couldn't shake it. Like I just couldn't. I couldn't get my mind to go back to being confident. And even during the fight, I thought I lost the first round. I went back and I watched the fight, and I did a lot better than I thought I did, but I just couldn't get myself back into a winning mindset, even when I got rocked, when he hit me, instead of throwing back and doing something, I was kind of just covering up, and I kind of just lost all my confidence because things weren't going my way. I didn't get dropped. I didn't get knocked out. I just didn't do anything, where as if I was the way I am now, it would have been completely different. And obviously when we fight again, it's going to be completely different, but I'm truly happy it happened to me because it made me the best version of myself. And now I know that it's okay to lose, whereas before I was undefeated. I thought if I lost, my whole world would be over. Everything would end, and it's not real. And instead of focusing on the outcome, this week I just went in there going this is what I fucking do, and I want to be here, and I'm just going to go out there and fight, and whatever happens, happens. I can't control that. All I can control is how I feel going into it and just doing what I do, and that's exactly what happened.
And first time fighting as a married man, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does that change anything?
Dude, my wife has been with me since my last amateur fight. She's been with me since I was 20 years old. My last amateur fight, we met. We've been dating since then. She's been there from then on, all the wins, the one loss, fighting in fucking AC, fighting in Philly, then the UFC. So she's been there through it all. And she's my biggest support system, and she's ride or die. If I win, lose, if all this goes away tomorrow, she's going to be there for me. So, just like how Eddie talks about his wife all the time. I look up to Eddie a lot, and I look up to him and his family, and his wife has been there for him since day one, and that's how Kristen's been there for me.
That is great to hear. What was up with those fans in Austin, man? F you, Brady. Where is the hate coming from? Is it because I don't understand that. Why so much animosity?
Because their boy was getting wrapped up, listen, he's Kelvin's Mexican. We're in Texas. My coach is Puerto Rican. He's told me all week. He's like, the Mexican's going to be coming for you this week. He was like, so just be ready. And during the fight, while I'm doing to him, he was like, they're only fucking booing you because you're doing their boy dirty. So that's why afterwards I let them know. But I love Texas. That's my first time being there. It's an awesome state, awesome city. So I think I got some support afterwards. But I heard the boos during it. But I also heard the commentary team talking me up during the fight, and everyone was super impressed. So it doesn't really matter what anybody else says. My peers, listen, fighters and the people in the space, they know how good I am, and they all say good things about me. So whatever anyone else says doesn't really matter.
And to be clear, did you hear the commentators during the actual fight, or you mean when you watched it afterwards?
During the fight.
Oh, really?
At one point, I took him down, and I heard DC just saying how high level my grappling was during the literally during the fight. So it was cool.
That's great for the confidence. What about the sub? Did you think that there was a chance that he was going to fight through that? I mean, it looked like it looked excruciating to watch, and it seemed like maybe he was going to try to fight it, but I was like, please just tap. This is too much.
Yeah. I had it. That's one of my go-tos, the kimura, and I knew once like my hands were locked. It was getting to a certain point, either he was going to tap or his shoulder was going to break, and I'm breaking that shoulder. So I don't. My bad.
What happened?
Someone's at my door.
Oh,
my dog's.
Yes. That happens.
He's a serial killer. But no, so I knew either his shoulder was breaking or he was tapping. And as soon as when you're in there and you feel somebody tap and they quit and you know it's over, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's the best moment ever. So it worked out perfect.
It must have felt amazing after this past year, especially, right? You've had a bunch of wins, but this one, it just got to feel different coming off your first pro loss.
Biggest one too. If you look at Kelvin's record, guy's only lost to the best guys in the world, takes Izzy to a split decision, almost beats him, has had multiple main events. He's been doing this forever, and he has a huge name now. He's coming back down to 170. It almost felt like, I was coming back, but a lot of people were talking about, it's the return of Kelvin at 170. He's going to be a champ. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I shut it all down.
Do you feel somewhat, maybe not now, but like leading into this, did you feel somewhat like the forgotten man at 170 because it had been so long?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, if you're not fighting, the division's moving on. And there was a lot of stuff going on at 170. So guys were moving, and then I get matched up with Kelvin, who's not even a 70-pounder. But I feel like that fight did more for me than a lot of other fights would have done. So I think my stock goes through the roof, whether my ranking moves or not. I don't really care about that. I'm in the top 10. And I feel like now everyone was reminded of who I am.
So I love the call out after you mentioned Ian Garry. Do you think in your heart of hearts, Ian wins next weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, that they would consider matching you up with him?
I think so. I was asking for him before this fight. We're both managed by Lloyd and Boehner, and Lloyd knows I want that fight. I was originally supposed to be fighting Luque, and then he stole my opponent. So then I got matched up with Kelvin. So but I think it would make sense. I don't know how he would like it stylistically. He knows what's going. Like, he's smart. Like, he knows who's a good matchup for him, who's a bad matchup, and I think I'm a bad matchup for him. So, but I'm hoping he's seeing all this that I'm saying, and I hope that I hope it gets back to him, and I hope he knows that I want to fight him. It's not, and I'm not like, I don't like talking shit or anything like that, but shit he's done to Neil Magny in the past with talking about beating the kids and putting Neil in a bad. Neil just came out recently and said like clippings of it were being brought into court, and like he's getting put in a bad spot because of it with his family. So and then he's talking about suing fighters and doing all this stuff, and he's just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'd love to get in there and get into a fight with him.
There seems to be like this sort of groundswell of negativity towards him in the community from fighters. I'm not talking about the fans. Why do you think that is?
Because I think he's doing it to himself. He's doing all the stuff with the. I get it. Like, I had one of my best friends was out there like following me with the camera, doing certain stuff. Like, we have to post on social media, we have to do all that, but he's bringing these cameras into these gyms that he's going in the Renegade with these guys and trying to film them and doing it at Kill Cliff and talking about knocking out sparring partners and releasing footage of hurting people and just doing the weirdest shit. Like, your team's supposed to be your family. Like, I was already down my gym today. We had guys fight over the weekend, and I went in and congratulated them, did my podcast, see my coach. Like, those guys are my family. And he just bounces around and goes to all these different gyms, and it seems like he's always just causing trouble. And I just don't like it. And I feel like real fighters like me and real teams, they don't like that shit either. Like Henry Hooft and those guys, like, they're an amazing team, and I'm a fan of them. Eddie Alvarez was down there years ago, and I've always seen them, and they always seem like they're a super tight-knit group, and it just seems like Ian kind of rubbed all them guys the wrong way too. Like, I know Brendan Allen. I know Brendan came out and said like, yo, you're talking about knocking people out in the gym and doing all this stuff, but we got footage of you getting knocked out. So you won't like a taste of your own medicine. And I just think the real ones don't like that shit.
Do you think Luque beats him?
I personally do. I don't think he gets past Luque, but if he does,
okay.
And even with Luque, like that's still a fight that I think me and Luque would make perfect sense. The winner, whoever wins the fight, But the difference between me and that, like, I respect Luque. Me and Luque talked a bunch before this fight because we thought we were going to get matched up. And I respect Luque as a fighter. I respect what he's done in his career, and I would love to fight him and test myself against him. Ian's a completely different story. Yeah, he's a good fighter. I don't think he's all he thinks he thinks he's fucking God's gift to the earth. Like, he walks around like he is the man. He does all this stuff where I don't think he's what he think he is, and I think I can exploit all of his weaknesses.
By the way, same weight class, of course, Leon Colby that night. Who do you have?
I have Colby. Yeah.
Well,
I have Colby. And just because I feel like something I'm trying to support. I feel like Americans don't support their own. You know,
okay.
I feel like all these other countries, like we have guys from Uzbekistan in our gym. These guys fight. They go. Our teammate Nursultan, he took a fight on short notice. He's from Uzbekistan. He went home and met like his president and had like a parade and all this. I come home like people don't give Philly don't get like we don't support our own the way we should. So I'm trying to support all Americans no matter what. And I do think Colby can get it done. Outside of the cringy stuff he does, he's a really good fighter. I know people who know him personally, and they say in the gym, he's a great fighter, and he's a really good person outside of the gimmicks. So I hope he gets it done.
By the way, we had Joe Piper on the show last week. Has he rubbed it in that he got to a main event before you?
No, he hasn't. It's Joey. They like Joey, and Joey's doing all the right things, and he's getting pushed to right. Me and Joey are two completely different people. I was with him. We were doing our podcast this morning. I love Joey to death, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm super happy for him. I did the post-fight interview. I'm like, yo, you guys are giving out fucking main events to Joey Piper. I'm like, let me get one of them. Damn. But I'm super happy for Joey, and I knew that this was all going to come for him, and our whole team's doing great, man. We're a small team from Philly, and he was out there with me all fight week, and I'll be there for him. I couldn't be there for him his last fight because I was sick as a dog, but I'll be there for him February 10th.
What's the podcast called?
It's called Steady Picks MMA. We do it for a betting web. Okay. It's not a betting website. It's a picks. So they do picks. So it's called Steady Picks. But it's me, Joey, and our boy Kurt. And it's called Steady Picks.
Okay.
So we had Randy Brown on there recently who's come down and train with us. But yeah, it's me, Joey, and our boy Kurt, and he produces it and stuff. So we just recap the fights, we talk about the fights, and give out picks that obviously because we're not allowed to bet.
Sure. Of course.
We pick the fighters. We just pick the fights, and we obviously recap our fights. So we're hype about this past weekend with me, and yeah, it's good fun. It's all good. It's fun.
Perfect world. When do you fight again?
I'm here, and they're coming to Atlantic City March 30th. So that's AC's my backyard. Like if it's not Wells Fargo, that would be the best one. But AC is literally, I fought there so many times. I've won belts there. I've defended belts there. That's home to me. So
that sounds like a potential main event.
Possibly.
I like that.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. It'd be nice, man. It gives me enough time. I'll enjoy Christmas with my family. I'm actually going to go. My family all hunts, and they're going up to the mountains this weekend for the last weekend of rifle season. So I'm going to go. I haven't been up there in like 10 years, just because like training and fighting, I've missed so much stuff. I'm going to go spend some time up there. I'll get back. I'll enjoy Christmas, and then it gives me a perfect amount of time to get ready for a 3-rounder or a 5-rounder, whatever they come with. So I'll be ready either way.
Well, that would be great because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got married on the same day as the pay-per-view in Newark, and you were a little bit bummed, right? That you couldn't fight, somewhat close to home. This would be even closer to home, so it would all work out in a nice way. Really happy for you. Welcome back, Sean. Great win. Very, very impressive to do that to someone like Kelvin. And I think it's going to be a big 2024 for you. So looking forward to that as well. Thanks for coming on, and great to have you back on.
Ariel, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do, man. You're the best in the game, and I appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon. There he is, Sean Brady. Huge win for him, and very much back at 170. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.